Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome. My name is David Blankenhorn. I'm the president of the Institute for American Values. Thank you for coming to this conversation this evening on a great topic. And I want to hand it over to Jonathan Rauch, our moderator, but I want to just say a little word about Jonathan. I met Jonathan several years ago when his book came out entitled Gay Marriage, Why It's Good for Gays, Good for Straights, and Good for America. And he called me up and said, I'm having this panel discussion at the Brookings Institution. Would you come to talk about my new book? And I said, okay. So I would go to Washington and I just attacked the book and him and the horse he rode in on to the best of my ability. And he came up afterwards and, thanked me for my input. And I got the inkling at that time that I was dealing with not only a tolerant guy, but an interesting man. And since that time, my admiration for him and his work has really grown, and a great deal of respect and friendship, and I think of him as a friend and colleague, and despite the differences that we have, a friend of the Institution of Marriage. So I welcome him as our moderator this evening, and I'm going to hand it over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Thank you all for being here on an August afternoon. I'm not sure how I feel about being called an interesting man. You all know that the famous Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. David has been, despite or in fact because I would say of our disagreements over gay marriage, David has emerged as a friend and colleague and someone I very much respect as a unique and important voice in that debate. But one of the things David has been right about since the first day I called him in 2004 is that the gay marriage debate has sucked so much of the oxygen out of the room from the marriage debate. It's as if we've got this big national issue, gay marriage, and over here in the corner, marriage itself, which seems a little lopsided when you think about it. So when he asked me to come and moderate this panel and rectify that odd balance at least a little bit, I was very eager to do it. You can believe that. I am a guest scholar at the Brookings Institution, a contributing writer for National Journal and sometimes Atlantic Monthly. I wrote a book on gay marriage, which is only $12 on Amazon. I'd love to say that. But I'm mostly here to facilitate and lead a discussion. We're very lucky to have three remarkable people with us, including one who joined us at the last minute, which was very kind. At the far end, my extreme left, Elizabeth Marquardt, director of the Center for Marriage and Families here at the Institute for American Values, and I can warmly recommend her book, Between Two Worlds, Inner Lives of Children of Divorce, the key words in the title, which was published in 2005, and which, as a child of divorce, when I read it, I can tell you I resonated to it. It's an interesting and important piece of work, and interesting in the good sense. Next to Elizabeth, Brad Wilcox, Associate Professor of Sociology and Director of the National Marriage Project at the University of Virginia. Also one of the leading members. I think you played a leading role in organizing this report, right? Why Marriage Matters, which is why we're here. And finally, special thanks to Amy Wax, to my immediate left, the Robert Mundheim Professor of Law at the University of Pennsylvania, and the author of, I think, a really quite important brand new article just off the press called, now the title's a little intimidating, but the article is not. It's called Diverging Family Structure and Rational, in quotation marks, Behavior. The Decline in Marriage as a Disorder of Choice. Interesting choice of words there, a disorder of choice. So we hope we'll find out a little bit more about what that means, but the preview is that what Professor Wax has done is tried to understand the reasons behind the change in marital behavior.